My German Shepherd dog Kane recently made a big leap in his healing journey, and I want to share with you what made such a big difference for him, as well as what he has to say about it. But first, if you have an interest in animal communication, natural pet care, and interviews with experts in the fields of animal care and advocacy, then this is the place for you. Just hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified of all of our upcoming weekly episodes.
Come on, all you doggies, won't you walk with me? I'm the puppet dog.
So prior to adopting Kane, he suffered an injury, and when he was picked up by the rescue group, he did have surgery on his elbow and his shoulder. I've talked about this whole situation in previous videos, and at the end of this video, you can always click and watch those videos. But today I want to talk about what made such a big difference on this almost 2-year now long journey of helping Kane to heal. So of course, since adopting Kane, I've done everything in my training that I could do to help him. That means animal massage, animal acupressure. I've used essential oils, done energy work with him, CBDs, anything I could to help him, plus other modalities. However, Kane kind of hit a plateau where I would notice that if he went to the dog park, for instance, we would throw the ball for him a few times and he would get tired out. He would end up sort of stiff and favoring that arm, and he would just kind of want to lie down and chew on his ball. And he wanted to be there, but he didn't want to run around. And also, he would often feel intimidated by other dogs at the dog park and even out walking him. Kane is a 80-pound German Shepherd, but he was aware of this sort of perceived weakness that he had of this injured arm, this chronically injured arm. So he would, at the dog park, avoid playing with other dogs, which was kind of sad because other dogs wanted to play with him, and I wanted him to have fun. But recently, on a couple of trips to the dog park, I have noticed a big difference in Kane. At the first visit that I noticed this change, he wanted this about 6-month-old puppy that was just adorable. He wanted to play with this dog. He kept taking his ball over to the dog and he would drop it in front of him and wanted the dog to pick up the ball, and it was just adorable. And he kept doing it over and over. And then a few days later, I took him back to the dog park and he allowed a large Labrador retriever to wrestle with him. They would kind of stand up and do this like big dog wrestling thing. They would kind of bump chest, and he also ran around with a few dogs, and I just had never seen this before with him. So I was just floored. I was actually quite shocked, and I realized what had made the difference. And it was that I started using something called a multi-radiance laser with him. This is something I acquired about a month and a half ago or so, and it's just made such a difference for him. And he says that he has so much more fun now with these dogs. He does not feel intimidated by them. He doesn't feel as weak around other dogs. And I have to tell you, as a pet parent, it just melted my heart to see him kind of being his full dog self and having so much fun. So some of you may be familiar with these lasers. There's vets more and more that have them. People like me who do other modalities with animals, such as massage or acupressure. Some physical therapists have them. So the one I have looks like this. You just apply it to the area of the animal that has the injury, or you pass it down their spine. That's actually something that you do oftentimes to help them relax at the beginning of when you're going to do whatever you're going to do with whatever area you're going to focus on that day. And it helps, they call it an unwind, it helps them to relax. So if you're not familiar with a multi-radiance laser, it can provide a targeted super pulse laser light. And what that does is it stimulates cell regeneration. This is scientifically proven technology. It's very effective for a broad range of issues, a big one being arthritis. So what does Kane think about this? So Kane talks about feeling more confident. He says that he just doesn't have the same intensity of discomfort. You could see that he maybe was a little bit stiff after that escalated play at the dog park, but he just kind of snapped back. He's always going to probably have a little bit of a stiffness to him, to his gait, but this was quite different than previous trips when he'd kind of overdone it with the running after his ball at the dog park. Once he was home, I actually saw him kind of just rested a little bit, and then he was back to himself. I did do another treatment with him right away when we got home, and I just think that made a huge difference for him. He says that when I use the laser on him, he does hear a little bit of like a sound. There is a slight like buzz to it, but it doesn't really bother him. He talks about actually feeling rather relaxed when I use the laser with him, and he's pretty intense. He's a German Shepherd. He's not always so chilled out, and he does just sometimes just go right to sleep as I'm using the laser on him, and the use of it is pretty brief. It's only like 2 minutes to 10 minutes or so. It just kind of depends on what you're doing. Laser treatments usually are recommended about 3 times in a row when you initially start using them, and then you can space it out a little bit more. I am lucky to have one at home, so I'm able to do it pretty frequently with my pets. You do take breaks here and there, but it does help to be relatively consistent, especially in the beginning. Now, lasers can be quite expensive. The ones that I have seen on Amazon and places like that are, from what I have been told by the veterinary community, not so effective, but I cannot speak to that personally. You might want to talk to your veterinarian about that. And if you want to reach me directly for things like animal communication, and as I mentioned, I do various other things such as animal massage, animal acupressure, energy work, laser, CBD, essential oils, you can find me at intuitivetouchanimalcare.com or reach me directly at ann@intuitivetouchanimalcare.com. So let me know below if you've ever had laser treatment for your pet and how it made a difference for them.
Rub my belly.